Football fans, what if I tell you this is not just a bad season anymore? This is becoming a financial war inside the biggest football club on earth. And at the center of it all is Mbappé. The same player who arrived at Real Madrid like a king in the summer of 2024 is now being treated like the villain of Madrid. And the numbers involved? Absolutely insane. We're talking about sponsorship risks worth over 100 million euros, collapsing fan support, dressing room tension, luxury yacht vacations during injury recovery, and a viral Mbappé out petition that reportedly crossed 30 million signatures online by May 2026. Whether some of those signatures were boosted by bots or not, one thing is clear: the relationship between Mbappé and the Bernabeu is starting to crack in a way nobody expected. What makes this situation even crazier is how fast everything changed. Just months ago, Mbappé was supposed to be the final piece of Real Madrid's next Galactico dynasty. Florentino Perez saw him as more than a footballer. He was a global business empire. When Real Madrid finally secured Mbappé after years of transfer drama, the club built huge parts of its commercial future around him. Shirt launches exploded across Europe, Asia, the United States, and the Middle East. Reports claimed his jersey sales were nearly 450% higher than Jude Bellingham's during the early marketing wave. That matters because Real Madrid reportedly generates around 300 million euros every single year from retail and merchandising alone. Mbappé wasn't just scoring goals, he was printing money for the club. But then came the disaster season. By May 2026, Real Madrid were staring at the terrifying possibility of ending the campaign without La Liga and without the Champions League. For a club built on trophies and dominance, that is considered failure. And when fans look for someone to blame, they usually target the biggest star. Suddenly, Mbappé became the face of disappointment. Not because of poor statistics, because statistically, he remained one of the most productive players in Europe, reportedly scoring around 85 goals across 2 seasons, but because of perception. Football fans forgive bad form. What they don't forgive is what looks like a lack of commitment. Then the pictures appeared online. While recovering from a hamstring and thigh injury, Mbappé was photographed on a luxury yacht in Sardinia, Italy, alongside actress Esther Exposito. And the timing could not have been worse. Real Madrid were preparing for a massive El Clasico against FC Barcelona with the season hanging by a thread. Fans were furious. Social media exploded instantly. Thousands accused him of prioritizing celebrity lifestyle over football. The phrase "Mbappé out" started trending across Spain, France, and even parts of Latin America. What should have been a recovery period suddenly became a PR nightmare worth millions of euros. And here, where the financial side becomes terrifying, Real Madrid made a historic exception to sign Mbappé. Normally, the club controls major portions of player image rights, but for Mbappé, reports suggested he retained nearly 80% of his image rights, an extraordinary concession. That means both the player and the club rely heavily on his global image staying strong. If fans turn against him permanently, everybody loses money. Sponsors lose engagement. The club loses merchandise momentum. International tour organizers lose excitement. Marketing campaigns become weaker. Analysts estimate that if this crisis continues through the summer of 2026, Real Madrid could risk losing between 50 million euros and 100 million euros in sponsorship leverage, commercial growth, and global tour revenue. Think about that for a second. One player's public image becoming toxic could cost more than the transfer budgets of entire European clubs. And it doesn't stop there. Mbappé's own sponsorship future is suddenly under pressure too. His long-term deal with Nike is reportedly approaching a critical stage heading into summer 2026. Rumors already suggest possible interest from Adidas or even Under Armour. But brands don't just buy talent anymore. They buy image, they buy influence, they buy positivity. A superstar constantly trending for controversy becomes a dangerous investment. Even a small reduction in sponsorship valuation could cost Mbappé tens of millions over the next few years. That's the level football has reached in 2026. Reputation is now as valuable as goals. Inside the dressing room, things reportedly became even more uncomfortable. Spanish media began circulating stories about tension between players, frustration over discipline, and concerns that Mbappé's superstar status was creating imbalance within the squad. Some insiders allegedly viewed him as disruptive, not necessarily because of his performances, but because the entire club atmosphere now revolved around him. His representatives pushed back aggressively, insisting he had full permission for the Sardinia trip and continued rehabilitation while away. They argued he was being unfairly used as a scapegoat for the failures of an entire team. And honestly, they may have a point. One player cannot be responsible for a trophyless season at Real Madrid, but football has never been rational. At clubs this massive, symbolism matters more than logic. The pressure is now spreading beyond Mbappé himself. Manager Alvaro Arbeloa is reportedly fighting for his future. There are already whispers linking Jose Mourinho with a sensational return by summer 2026 if results continue collapsing. That creates another financial problem. Every early Champions League exit costs clubs enormous UEFA prize money. Missing out on deep tournament runs can wipe out tens of millions in expected revenue. And when dressing room instability combines with fan toxicity, performances often get worse, not better. Then came another shocking development. Reports suggested Real Madrid had already begun imposing heavy internal disciplinary fines to restore order in the squad. Some penalties allegedly reached €500,000 for certain players amid rising tension and professionalism concerns. That tells you something important. This isn't just online drama anymore. The club hierarchy believes there is a real internal crisis brewing. And now the biggest question in world football is suddenly becoming real. What if Real Madrid actually considers separating from Mbappé? A sentence that sounded impossible 1 year ago now dominates football debates everywhere. Because financially, emotionally, and politically, this relationship has become incredibly dangerous for both sides. If Madrid keeps him and fan anger grows, the club risks commercial damage. If they sell him, they lose the centerpiece of their global project. And for Mbappé, leaving under fan pressure could damage the legacy he dreamed of building at the Bernabeu. This is why the Mbappé situation is bigger than football. It represents the terrifying reality of the modern game where players are no longer just athletes. They are billion-euro brands. One injury, one social media controversy, one bad season, one photo on a yacht, and suddenly an entire financial ecosystem starts shaking. Sponsors panic, fans revolt, coaches lose control, executives fear losses, and the pressure becomes almost impossible to survive. The scary part, we may only be at the beginning of this story. Because if Real Madrid finishes the 2025-26 season without major trophies, the summer could become absolute chaos. Transfers, sackings, contract wars, sponsor negotiations, dressing room exits, and possibly the most shocking football divorce of the decade. So the question is Mbappé truly the problem at Real Madrid? Or has football created a system where the biggest superstar always becomes the easiest target when everything falls apart? If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more.